Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. In the last episode we have built a sort of Omaha. That turned out very different from the actual ship, but today I figured we'll try our hand on the Lexington, because that would be an actual battlecruiser, so let's do that. Now, if we are looking at this hull that we've got, and this is the only battlecruiser hull that we've got available at this time, that thing has a maximum displacement of 33,000 tons, which is about 10,000 tons less than the actual definite design of the Lexingtons was in the late 1910s. But given that we're starting at 1920, we can just assume that one of the earlier designs had been built, and we can give this a 33,000 ton displacement, which roughly matches what the earlier designs were supposed to be having. And we'll be calling that the Lexington. There we go. Not to be converted into an aircraft carrier, because aircraft don't really do a thing in this game. Anyway, let's go with the many bulkheads. The design speed of these things, of this hull, is 28.5 knots. It's a bit slower than what the actual idea was, but they did run into problems with the boilers because they didn't have the engines at the time to make this happen. So we are actually going to go with that. And now we're not doing spacious. I'll reserve that for a French playthrough. Okay, so what would have been the original configuration? I'm going to pull up one of the designs or the artist impressions of one of the earlier things. These things were to have in their original config. Let's see what we can fit in main tower wise. We're going to need something with a cage mast. Apologies if my voice is a little scratchy. Relatively short cage mast with a regular mast on top. Let's see what we can find here. That doesn't look bad. So I think that's the right... no, not this one. No. Okay, so this... yeah, that's the right idea. Okay, so we'll stick one of these in there. And then the secondary tower was, I think, just a very stubby cage mast. Let's see if we have something like this. Not quite. Too big. Nope. Really a simple rear tower. That might work. That is better. Yeah, that looks about right. So I think we'll go with that. And she was have to have a lot of funnels. I'm seeing 5 here on the drawing. I've read about 7, depending on where you're checking, because these were hypotheticals. Right? The ship were never built like that. But let's start with the guns. So these had the King George configuration of super firing triples, 14-inch over twins. So we'll start out with the 14-inch twin barrel guns, and we'll pull these as far forward. How far forward were these meant to be? Not that far forward, actually. We might have a little bit of a space constraint here just from the length of the ship. But we can move things around as we go. So that's one twin forward, and the twin aft would have been on the lower deck. No, actually it would have been on the upper still. Yes, it would have been on the upper deck, and then a barbette. So it would have been here. We'll figure out the position of the turrets and everything else later. I just want to bring the guns in first. And we can put a triple 14-inch on a barbette. Okay, we do need barbettes for that one. What can we... That would have been a relatively simple round barbette. Is that fitting size-wise? Roughly. Yeah, it might work. That's... 94 tons. We can get better flash fire. I'm not sure if this was a thing in earlier versions of the game, but apparently we can trade weight for better flash fire protection by getting thicker barbettes. So 65, yeah, that looks about as we would expect. Let's see how the gun fits on that. So centerline gun, 14-inch triple on that, and I think it's a little tall. Can we see if we can find a flatter one? Which one was that I put? There's so many of them. Flutter. Tall. The tall one is, I think, shorter than the standard one. Is that meant to be? I think they're about the same size, honestly. No. That looks a bit flatter. But it does have some things on the side that weren't quite meant to be there. Okay, we'll just go with the standard superimposed, and we'll put another one on the bow, and then we put the 14-inch triple on top of these. Okay. So far so cramped. We may have to push the rear guns off the deck here in case I can't get my things to have to fit. They really do look a bit tall. I'm not quite happy with the barbettes. This is massive. We don't want that. See if we can find anything that's a bit shorter than these. No, that's all the same height. That's a bit flatter, I think. Yeah, that looks no, but not much. Like a couple of millimeters, inches. Sorry. Really, this looks reasonably flat. That's a different thing, and this is for small guns. So we could kind of go with this one. Let's see what that looks like. That would be the probably the flattest we can find. And we take the gun, put it up top. Yeah, that looks better. So let's just duplicate that over here. And then duplicate the gun over there as well. I know it's not as good, but it looks a bit better because the guns is now not standing out that much. Although if we can't fit the funnels, we may have to ditch the rear, the aft barbette, and move the rear turret, the twin, down onto the lower deck. But we'll see if we can make it fit here. Okay, so we were supposed to have 5 funnels. Let's see what kind of funnels we have here. This is not the right kind of funnel that I want. This is definitely not looking like these look way more modern than the funnels that we would have had at the time, unfortunately. So already the funnel setup is not going to work the way I want it to. We can probably get away with. If I take the smallest funnel that I can get, it still doesn't match. This would have been just a thin, long, like 19th century funnel. How about the later designs? What kind of funnel? Let's see. Hang on. Maybe we'll assume that she's So the later design just had 2 relatively large funnels and one with a crane in the middle. Do we have anything with the crane? We do not, but there is a crane on the rear superstructure, on the rear tower, so we may as well just use that. No funnels with cranes. That looks a bit wonky. We did not have. I mean, it sort of could work if we could turn it around, which I don't think we can with funnels. No. Okay, in that case, we'll just move things around a little bit and see if we can fit our funnels in there. So superstructure forward, and then let's close these 2 a little bit. There's no reason for them to be separated. Actually, no one. In the later designs, the 2 funnels were between the towers. So we can. If I can remove this, there. See if we can squeeze 2 funnels in there. So that actually looks reasonably similar to the later design funnels. Yeah, pretty much. And it's 126% engine efficiency, and we haven't even done anything with the engines just yet. So that would be a Lexington class battlecruiser with an absolutely dreadful forward weight offset. Oh golly. Okay, let's see how far back we can push things before we need to start moving things off the deck. This is about as far as it goes. Same here. Let's move everything backwards as much as we can and see if we can get ourselves a little bit out of this offset problem here. Okay. Nope. There we go. Poor sector of fire. It's fine. And this goes here. Still terrible. Oh, and this one's unhappy about the thing. Okay. Yeah, I think... Why do we have... I mean, it's not terribly misaligned. Interesting. Let's deal with that later. For now, let's just keep going. What else do we need? We need secondaries. What were they? What was the original design? 18 5-inch 51s. Now, what do we get in the 5? It doesn't say. What were they planning back then? 5-inch 51s. Would they have been single barrel or twins? I would almost assume. I don't think we have any casement. We can get any casemates onto this hull. No, we can't. So 5-inch casemates is out of the question. Yeah, we have no casement mounts. So let's get back to the drawing and see if we can spot what type of guns these would have been. Hang on a second, I'll need to check that. Right, so it looks like these would have been casemate guns in the superstructure, which we have no mounts for with the superstructure that we've got. So instead, we'll see if we can. I mean, 18 of them would be a fair amount. We'll see how much we can side mount onto this thing. So that would be 6, and we can't really use the forward mounts very well. So that would be 8. I guess we're going twin mounts then, and see if we can fit twin 5 inches onto those. And it turns out we can. All right, so with that we would have 16, which I think is close enough. And we still have an absolutely dreadful forward weight offset, so that thing's going to be completely unstable. Like almost 30%, and I don't think we can do an awful lot with the armor plating here as well. I think we will have to, yeah. So we'll deviate from the original design a little bit, and we'll push that down, which means we then can put the triple over here, which means she's no longer interfering, and we don't need the barbette, and we can start moving everything a little bit to the rear, including the 5-inch mounts here. Let's just get rid of those. We'll put them back later. We have decided what we want here. I'm just gonna put everything in place for now, just to balance the ship out somewhat. And we can move the superstructure a little bit back. And we still have a forward weight offset. Let's see how far we can get that by. I mean, I don't also want to make it look terrible. That's not happy about the gun placement. Okay, and let's move that a little forward. Where can we put you that you're happy? Now, how's that? Poor sector of fire. I'm actually okay with that, to be honest. And we still have a forward weight offset. That is interesting. I mean, the engine spaces are probably about as far to the rear as we can now. We can still push it a little bit more. But it'll start looking a little funky at some point. So I'm not willing to do that, actually. I think I would like to make the ship look a little bit more reasonable and have the machinery spaces here. And then we can... the balance is sort of the metacentric center is sort of behind this forward superstructure. So if we put the 5-inch twins a little bit further in the rear, because we now have the space here, we can even put them a little bit more inwards and have them a little offset, which gives it almost a Japanese look of things. and we'll have this one there, and we can actually put this one here, and that way, yeah. Have we aligned these properly? No, we have not. Okay, let's do this right, because I don't want to have them weirdly aligned either. Okay, because that is just weird. Okay, let's get rid of these, duplicate that, and align them properly along this axis here. And you can be forward facing. There we go. So these are properly aligned, except for those which have a little bit more of an indent following this arrow, tapering arrow there of the hull. We are deviating significantly at this point from the design, but it still looks, I would say it still looks reasonably like a Lexington. What else did you have? Did we have AA guns? Well, for once we had torpedo launchers, so we can fit, how many did you have? 8 torpedo tubes. 4 below the waterline, so I think we'll work with that, and maybe we'll put one on the stern as well. That helps a little bit with the weight. So we've got the underwater torpedo tubes. She had, I think, 2 in the stern, but we can't fit that here. And AA guns, 3-inch, 4 3-inch guns. Can we get 3-inch? No, we have no casemate mounts. 3-inch casemate AA guns, single barrel. Oh, cute! We can put them on top of the. Turrets. Well, that's awesome. I didn't know you could do that. Hang on, let me check again where these would have been. 1 second. In fact, I think they did have one on the aft turret. So let's put one here. Where else can we put you? She didn't have one on the forward turret, so that's not a thing. Do I have space anywhere to fit that in? There's no mounts anywhere on the where we can put them. We could put a twin pair here and just have them, I mean, they should have been higher mounted, honestly. Or we just put another one for symmetry on the forward turret. Yeah, why not? There we go. So we've got 2, which is better than, well, it's not 3, but it's better than nothing. So these are totally AA guns, Governor. They're not meant for anti-shipping. But all right, so let's get further. Given that these would have been a bit of an older design, they probably would have been coal-fired. We can get away with natural boilers. I don't think they had geared turbines, but we have nothing better, so that's probably the best we can do at this point. Give it a... This is going to be a little dated design, I think, but in a post-World War I sort of thing. We'll just put delivered and semi-balanced, hydraulic steering. Now, armor-wise, we'll give it Group 3, but decent, highly advanced protection system, not really. It's Barbette 3, or some like a middle ground here, sort of, in terms of what we have available for the at the time. Would she have had a Turtleback armor scheme? No. So we're just going to go with the regular Citadel armor. Shells. Definitely not max HE. Standard ratio. Secondaries, probably increased HE. Okay, what were we firing? Let's see. Well, I think we're just going to decide based on the stats here. And please show me the stats for the gun. Yeah, what do we got? So we can... Right now we're firing semi-armor piercing, which is not what we would have been firing. So let's go down to standard shells for starters. No, please go. Stop showing me that. Show me, there we go. What range? 10,000 meters. Okay, we need to fix the propellants. Cordite I'm happy with, but we're going with TNT and not with Dunite, because that stuff explodes. Okay, 10,000 meters. We have a 34-inch belt penetration. Now that's that's on standard steel, so not on. So with a, what have we got? We've got 120% armor quality, so that would be effectively a little less than half of it. So we still 20-inch penetration. That's plenty, honestly, for a 14-inch gun. That's plenty of pen. I think we could even go semi-ballistic here, but wouldn't have quite been correct. Standard AP shells might work. HEs. Oh yeah, but what pen do we have on the HEs? None whatsoever. So high capacity is a little wrong. Nose fuse. What does that look like? I want to be able to at least blow destroyers out of the water. 3-inch should be sufficient for that. Alternatively, if we're firing at battleships at angles, we're never going to get through the armor anyway with the HE. And even if we went with capped HE shells, but it might be able to penetrate cruiser with HE. But then again, AP is probably sufficient for that as well. We're just going to overpen. Base fuse, nose fuse, nose fuse. There we go. Okay, standard shell size, standard reloading, torpedo size. What was this? Is probably 21 inches again. What do we have? We had 21 inches, which we don't have. So we're going to go with 20 inches, which is going to make everything worse here. Yep, we're taking weight there. Standard torpedo ammo. Given that's an older ship, we're not going to put the latest of tech that we have into that. And we're going to go with an okay coincidence rangefinder. I have no idea if she had hydrophones. We're just going to go with that. Now, armor. She was meant, I think the originals were meant to have, let's see, was it? It was like a very elongated belt armor. 8 inches of belt armor. We're already at 9.8. We're not necessarily going to go with historical armor here just because in-game this is not a good idea, generally from my experience. But we could try to go with an 8-inch main belt and pull it all the way through. Let's see what that looks like in terms of weight. It was considered a bit thin. What was the deck armor on these things? No idea on the original designs, but it would have been like thin. So probably like 3-inch deck armor. Let's go with all around 3-inch deck armor. Conning tower would have been more. Let's go 12-inch on that. And we're just going to go with 2-inch superstructure splinter protection. Oh, we've still got plenty of displacement to work with, to be honest. Citadel armor, no clue. I'm just going to throw in what I can and make the best of it. There we go. Turret face would have been 11-inch. No idea about turret sides would have been 6-inch. 20-inch barbette armor? My gosh. Okay, that is 19-inch barbette armor. They did not have that much. 9-inch barbette armor, so let's give it 10. And the 5-inch guns probably wouldn't. We'll give it 7 and 3.5 and 2 on the barbette. There we go. 3-inch guns had nothing. Now caliber length. These would have been, what did I say? 14-inch watt guns. Notes. Where was it? Okay, these would have been 14-inch 50 calibers. We're 14-inch 51, so we're actually over. Let's reduce that a little. Still 51. More stubby, please. 14-inch 51. Oh, is that bugged again? That is bugged again, isn't it? Yeah. It looks like it's not updating. Let's see. Yeah, it's not updating. So, given that it's just 1 inch, we we're going, we're just gonna go like 5%, no, minus 5%. We might be able to see that at a later stage. Let's go out of that. Is it showing it to me? So it's showing it to me if I look here. That's a 14-inch 48. Okay, that's too much. Let's go 2%. 14-inch 49. 1%. 14-inch 50. Yay. Okay, so you are a 14-inch 50. Perfect. And these would have been 50s as well, which means they need to be a little longer. And now they are 49s, which is good enough. And I don't care about the AA guns. So that's that. And we've got plenty of room to spare, to be honest, which makes me want to up armor the ship a little bit more, I think, because that could go pretty catastrophic. Have I missed anything? Have I missed anything? Not really. We could go a bit faster. What if we went to 30 knots? Yeah, we can do 30 knots on these. Can we? But I don't think we can do 35. No. So let's go for 30 knots then. It's a Battlecruiser after all. No one's got poor sector of fire. What are you complaining about? Which guns? No, I'm happy with their sector of fire. This one a little bit, yes, but that's fine. It's a design, all right? We're not having a terrible forward weight offset anymore, and we may as well throw a little bit more armor plating into these things. So what if we went with a 10-inch main belt and a 5-inch main deck? Okay. I mean, it's getting. We can go for a 14-inch conning tower. Okay, we'll leave that at 12 inches. So that's as far as it goes, and I think the rest we put into some speed, because these were supposed to be significantly faster. Now we are going over our design speed for the hull, which is why this is taking so much displacement. But these things were basically just all engines at the time. So can we get up to? Can we get up to? No. Can we get up to 32 knots? We can, but I think 33 knots is stretching it. 32.5. Yeah, 32.5 knots, but then the engine efficiency drops off, which means 32 knots, and we already have engine efficiency issues, so we will have to go into induced boilers, or we could switch to semi-auto fuel. That'll do. And then, yeah, 32 knots. We've got, can we do 33? We can. And we're still decent in engine efficiency. Okay, so 33 knots it is. We've got a little bit displacement left here. And we have ourselves a Lexington class Battlecruiser. I think that looks, well, a lot closer than the Omaha design, if I'm honest. So that's not terrible. And we will see. I'll put that in the middle here. There we go. That's as much as I can turn it. Yeah, we will see how that behaves in battle. I'm assuming that the lack of armor is going to be a bit of a problem, but that's our Battlecruiser. So we're definitely going to have a couple of those. And next time, I think we'll start out with the battleships. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Bye.